The disappointing main roster run of Ricochet. And welcome back to my channel, guys, and well, this is Mikeratto for a new video yet again. So yeah, we're actually trying to upload most of the videos like either weekly or monthly or possible daily or once per in few days. So well, as for this video, we will talk about Ricochet's main roster run. We won't include NXT, but yeah, we will also have a lot of praises from his NXT run and also his Indies run. If you know about him, Ricochet is actually one of the most underrated guys in the main roster for WWE. Not to bash them or anything, but yeah, if you think about a guy who can actually create magic with his high flying abilities, you have a guy like Ricochet who can impress the audience with his high flying skills. With that said, what could have been done? Well, you can have him either as a main eventer or a mid-card talent who has a lot of title wins, either tag team, build him up, and then to the middle event or something like that, the mid card scene, and then for the main event scene, which actually WWE actually tried to create with his debut. Well, they actually tried to have him and Aleister Black be involved in the tag team scene before, and then while building him up for the United States Championship, which this actually happened in real life with his title reign actually being short. So yeah, that's another thing, because while they actually build the heel turn of AJ Styles during that time. So while for Ricochet, well, after that, he had this huge moment at the Royal Rumble when he helped eliminate Brock Lesnar and also had a match with Brock Lesnar. And then after that, well, his main event scene, well, it collapsed. The main event spot for Ricochet. What do I mean? But well, after that, well, he actually go to the mid card scene, which well he actually feuded with the Hurt Business, and then well after that feuding with them and then being betrayed also by Cedric Alexander during their feud with the Hurt Business, and then he was also involved, I think, with Retribution, which they actually had this three-way feud between Retribution, Ricochet, and the Baby Faces, and then the Hurt Business. You know what happened in 2020. And then while later on, while he was actually wrestling in main event or something like that. So well, for his talents, well, you can see that he can actually create these huge spots. Well, watch his match in the Money in the Bank 2021 for you to see, and also his moments in NXT when he was utilized for being this amazing high flyer. Not just that, just watch also his indie circuit type of indie circuit run. Well, he's actually wrestling in Lucha Underground, and most of those, well, you can see his talents. While people will say it was wasted, he was underrated, he was criminally underrated in the main roster, while people will have different opinions of being wrestlers who are actually misused or something like that. While a lot of wrestlers are actually being released left and right due to budget cuts, and there's a lot of talented wrestlers in the WWE who's been also involved in the budget cuts, such as Bray Wyatt recently when he was involved in the budget cut, Braun Strowman, who are main event guys. So yeah, as I mentioned, Ricochet will watch also his indie matches when he had these matches for NJPW, winning titles over there, IWGP titles, and then for Lucha Underground, which they made a storyline out of his character. And then later on when in WWE and NXT as a whole, when he had this feud also with the Dream before, Velvet Dream. So yeah, he had these feuds also in his match also with Adam Cole before. Well, just watch his matches also in NXT just for you to see how much talented this guy is. and also his matches that involves a lot of high flying stuff. You know how the independent circuit wrestling, when they had this lucha style wrestling, lucha style wrestling, which is actually made famous by a lot of guys, which are actually known also in the WWE, which some of them were actually masked. And the lucha type of wrestling, a lot of luchadors were actually wearing masks or something like that in storyline. Some actually didn't. Some were actually unmasked during a storyline, or well, some actually had this high flying abilities. If you think about high flying abilities, you can think of Ricochet and AJ Styles. You can also think about, well, Rey Mysterio, Miss Disease, and a lot of guys also, well, Kalisto and all of those. So, well, yeah, there's a lot of talented guys who can perform this risky moves, which actually, well, they had this move sets, which actually creates a lot of huge awe within the crowd. And that's the thing that WWE actually didn't capitalize on him when he is on the main roster. Yes, he is being used for this Money in the Bank ladder match when they had him do all of this amazing stuff. But yeah, despite that, well, he's actually being used as an enhancement talent sometimes, or being stuck in a feud which someone actually didn't care of, well, because WWE has their other storylines. Well, currently they have this Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar storyline. You have this Edge versus The Miz storyline. You have this Big E versus Bobby Lashley storyline. You have this, well, Shinsuke Nakamura, despite of being the Intercontinental Champion, while now he's fighting, I think, Sami Zayn at day one or something like that. Or yeah, also Shinsuke Nakamura, despite of being the Intercontinental Champion, well, he's not that used also in the main roster. Well, look at his mid card title runs. His twice of being United States Champion, and his twice of being the Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, that's another case of, well, people are not used on the main roster that much. Also, well, you have guys like Sami Zayn, who has this amazing connection with the crowd as him being a babyface or a heel, as this conspiracy theory type of guy who's been losing a lot of matches, and he wants to prove himself more to the audience and actually prove that he is right. And while he had a lot of matches, and he was squashed actually in the Universal Championship match a few weeks back, you have guys like Aleister Black. Before he left WWE, he had this amazing Raw run as a superstar, and then when he turned heel, and then later on, well, he was actually released. While you have guys also like Andrade Cien Almas or El Idolo, you have guys like, well, Keith Lee, who's actually, well, you have him be this guy who's actually a monster in the ring and then release them later. Well, for this constant releases, people has their different perspective, while they also have their different storylines planned out for that. A lot of business side of things and most of that. No, this is not a bash or something like that. I'm just reading off some people's arguments over the internet. Why aren't they used to be like this? Why are they used to be like that? So yeah, I'm just reading off these points. Some actually make sense, some actually doesn't. While in the business side of things, well, they have their other things sorted out. And for their planning, well, they have their different storyline or different perspective, different priorities as of late. So yeah, that's the video. I hope you all like it. Like, comment below, share, subscribe. And well, that's it for my video. I hope you all like it. And actually, peace. Take care.